very special guest. Some of you may know him, some of you may not know him. Some of you might love him, some of you may absolutely despise him, may want to throw him off a bridge. But that's nor here nor there. Zomp, COO, Eagles Nation, how you doing?
Very well, very well. Thank you for having me on the show. It's an honor and a privilege, my brother. Thank you very much.
No problem. So how you been? How's life off of Twitter?
It's been amazing, to be honest with you. Twitter is toxic. Let me tell you. It's been years that I've been on Twitter, and I realized, like, wow, what a waste of time, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But no, I miss some of the guys, but nonetheless, not the drama, not the stuff like that. But I can tell anyway that the name Zompster still lives, even though the Zompster may not be on Twitter. So that's how much of a legend I am on Twitter. But anywho, let's get down to business.
You know, it's crazy. Before we get down to the business, it's crazy. When you were doing YouTube videos, you were recording with a toaster, and now you're doing with your phone. It looks like HD. So, yeah, it looks a lot better.
Thank you for noticing. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. With that being said, we got to get into this really quick. It was breaking news this morning with Alshon Jeffrey and Carson Wentz relationship possibly going downhill and having a news source with that. He had Carson Wentz bought Alshon Jeffrey a plane ticket to go down to Houston, his home, where his teammates can chat and they could practice during the offseason, and Alshon didn't go. So, I mean, that could be a reporter's trying to stir up something, but I take it with a grain of salt, but I don't know. That could be something serious here. And I've said all along, I don't think Alshon Jeffrey really likes Wentz. That's why he's not given 100% on the field when it comes to Carson Wentz. So I just want to get your thoughts and opinions on that, because that could be kind of huge.
I mean, I have no idea where this is coming from. We've been hearing it for the last 2 years. I mean, I don't understand what's going on. It just happens to be Alshon. I don't hear any other names really. It's just always Alshon. I don't know the situation. He might love Foles. That's the only thing I could say. He must love Foles over Wentz. I mean, maybe he doesn't like that Wentz gets all the publicity, that Wentz is supposed to be the savior, Wentz this, Wentz that, and Foles just goes about his business. I have no idea. The only thing I could think of is that if the other receivers and the other players are not really doing the same thing, it must be just Alshon. Yeah. I mean, I love Alshon, helped us win us a championship, but I really can't put my nose on it. Besides that, I have no idea what the situation is.
No, I got you 100%. Now, personally, I've always had it to where Alshon preferred Foles over Wentz. You know, he signed here in 2017, at the beginning of 2017, and he knew Wentz was his quarterback, so he obviously liked where the direction was going with Wentz. But it seems as if when Wentz got hurt, and then it seemed like Foles targeted Alshon a little bit more, it seemed like that relationship to start the spiral downhill starting with last year. And then obviously Wentz got hurt. Well, he was already hurt, but then he went out and Foles came in and he started to ball out again. So this is actually, I think it's bigger than it is. But it's definitely something you have to look out for.
Absolutely.
But, yeah, 100%. But with that being said, Carson Wentz, we have to talk about this because you and I go back and forth all the time on it. All right. Is the problem with this Philadelphia Eagles season Carson Wentz?
I mean, listen, put aside the Zompster from Twitter. This is the real Zompster here. Okay. All right. No gimmick. Now, listen, this guy, ever since he's been drafted in 2016, I know I'm only speaking on my behalf. I expected big things from this guy. Okay. Now, I don't watch college football. I'm just going based on after the rookie year, based on what I've read, the studying and all the stuff. Listen, I've always thought, and I'll be the first one to admit it, that Carson Wentz is the type of guy who's going to be like a Rodgers, is going to be like a Brady Breeze, in essence, to, how can I say it, to elevate average football players. So what I say by that is like a guy like Mac Hollins, a guy like Jordan Matthews, not superstars. I think he would be the type of quarterback to elevate these players. I'm 125% wrong based on what we've seen from 2016 on, especially this year. He's not the type of guy to elevate these players. Now, that being said, people are going to say, but Zomp, this year, he's doing all that he can. And I believe that. I believe he's pressing a lot. I believe that he's trying his best to do a lot with very little. And they are dropping balls. That's a fact. But at the end of the day, he doesn't have that I don't want to say that winning formula because it's still he hasn't played in the playoffs yet, so I can't say that yet. But he doesn't have that formula to elevate these garbage or average football players like Nelson Aguilar, Hollins, Whiteside. I give him a hard time, but he is a rookie, and I don't think the coaches know what to do with him yet. But he, that Detroit game was another thing. But like I said, I just don't think that he's that type of quarterback to elevate average players. I do think that he needs help. And when I say that he needs help, I'm saying Alshon being hurt, Deshaun being hurt all year long, Lane Johnson getting concussed, now Jordan Howard hurt. Listen, that's a lot of key players. It's not like it's just Alshon, it's just Deshaun. It's a lot of players.
Yeah.
So, and talented players at best. So I don't understand the criticism, the hate on Carson Wentz. I think a lot of people expect too much, and maybe that's because of fans like me who said, oh, this guy could win with anybody, and it drilled into people's heads. But I really don't understand the criticism knowing how the offense is battling through injuries right now. So I don't get it.
And before I rebuttal off of what you just said, I have to thank Big Jeff Bone in the comment section, $2 super chat. Thank you so much, Bird Gang for life. Yeah, but to rebuttal off of what you just said, yeah, Wentz has to play better. There's no ands, ifs, or buts about it, but those fools, including, listen, you used to be one of those fools on Twitter, all right? During the offseason, you guys would say this guy's going to be the MVP. He's a top 2 quarterback in the league, all this stuff. You guys were sending him up to fail miserably. All right? Now, do I think he's been terrible? No. Do I think he's been great? No. I think he's been just a step below good, Like, he's not good enough, but he's doing enough to keep the team in position to be there at the end of the game, And from what I've heard from Eagles Nation, when you hype them up that much, the players listen. Trust me, you might think they don't listen, but they listen. All right. And everything's getting into his head at once. He sees that statue outside the stadium of Foles and Doug. He's pressing. He's pressing the issue. Now he's a pocket passer, which he really isn't. Doug never rolls him out. And, he's just not playing his style of football. And honestly, I think right now he's a top 12 quarterback. He's not an upper echelon quarterbacks. I don't love hating on the guy. I just like hating on the fan base for hyping this guy up to what he's not really capable of doing, to be honest with you.
Listen, I completely understand. Like I said, I'm one of those fans that hyped him up, and maybe you're like, this is what you thought, this is what we waited for. What I have a problem with, and it's not just with you, it's just with even on television fans. I don't understand like I said, okay, you expected him to be top 5 because of what we were saying. He's top 5, top 10 quarterback.
Twitter said top 2. Twitter said top 2.
Okay. That's all okay. But in reality, I think we're being too hard on Wentz. When I say that, and it's not an excuse if Dallas fans are watching this or Giant, whoever's watching this, think about it. And I'm going to use Dak Prescott because every time I watch the television, every time I go out, I go to work, I hear Dak Prescott's better than Carson Wentz. Dak Prescott's better. Listen, there's no doubt in my mind, in reality, Dak Prescott is performing very well right now. Yes. But as you're watching this year, the man has a healthy offense. There's 2 things, in my opinion, that Dak Prescott has that Carson Wentz doesn't. That's durability. I admit it. Solid guy. I admit it. But Dak Prescott also has everything around him healthy. He has everything. If you look at the numbers, before Amari Cooper came here to Dallas, he was just average quarterback at best. He had Zeke. He had the offensive line. Average quarterback at best. Now, all of a sudden, Amari Cooper comes, 300 yards, 400 yards, quarterback rating of 100. Everything has skyrocketed. Now, is that because Dak Prescott got better, or is it because the players around him are healthy and they are good players? Carson Wentz, the last time he had good players, but also healthy. People don't understand. Health is such a big, important factor. You had Alshon. Torrey Smith, I was never a fan of, but he did his job in 2017. The 3-headed monster. Clement was a stud. LeGarrette Blount, I mean, come on, great. You had J.J. running the ball. And then you had Nelson Aguilar, who was fucking competent. He was competent. He had an epiphany that year. Everybody was healthy. The offensive line was great. And what did Carson Wentz do? He was going to be MVP. He wasn't the MVP. Yes, I understand. He was going to be the MVP of the league. After 11, 12 weeks, I don't remember what it was, the Rams, 12 weeks.
Correct.
Was 11-2. We were averaging 30 points a game, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Dak Prescott, on the other hand, and this is not to hate on Dallas. I'm trying to make a comparison. That when people say Dak Prescott's better than Carson Wentz, what is the excuse for Dak Prescott to be one game better when he has a healthy offense and we're battered with injuries? We're 5-5, they're 6-4. They're not averaging 30 points a game. So think about it. He has top 10 players at every skill position. Offensive line, great. Carson Wentz has Lane Johnson out, Jason Peters out during the game, Jordan Howard out, Alshon Jeffrey out, Deshaun Jackson out. What do you expect him to do? Now, granted, like you said, and I'm sorry to keep going, but as you said, at the Patriots game, even though the 2 minutes, 3 minutes he had, was he brutal? Absolutely. I saw him miss throws to Ertz. I saw him miss throws all around. Easy throws. But then again, to me, Carson Wentz is the type of guy to be in rhythm. He's a rhythm quarterback. All game long, he was in rhythm. Nope. It's not an excuse. It sucks. But there's a difference between, is Carson Wentz regressing or does he have help because of injuries or whatnot? That's just my opinion.
Well, to go off what you were saying about Dak Prescott, I'll answer that for you. Wait until after tomorrow's game. Because if they beat the Patriots, I'll disagree with everything you said. Because if you go up to Foxborough and beat the team that we just could not beat, Dak Prescott, to me, hate to say it, MVP candidate. He's played really good this year. At least a top 5 quarterback. You know, he does what he can to help.
We're talking this year. We're talking
this year. Yeah, we're talking this year only. You know, maybe
you're telling me MVP candidate, but you not even if he beats New England, you're going to put him ahead of Lamar Jackson?
No. Lamar Jackson is my MVP. He's my MVP right now. I said candidate. There's a difference between MVP and candidate. I think Lamar Jackson, Russell Wilson, and McCaffrey are ahead of him right now.
McCaffrey. Okay, I agree. All right.
Yeah, definitely. But I can't be biased. You know, he's put his team in a position to win every single week. And if he wins tomorrow, a tough game in Gillette Stadium, they're going to be the front runner for the division, and it makes our game a must game. And their game's actually after ours, so you know we'll know before it. And if they win, it's pretty much all she wrote.
Just to be clear, though, when we played the Patriots, we had nobody. Dak has all his weapons, correct?
Right.
Okay, that's all. I wanted people to understand that because it's making me insane that people just don't get Dak Prescott has all this and Wentz doesn't have all this. And like I said, people are going to say, well, you said that, you know, he could win. I already explained that. I was wrong with that. Carson Wentz is like Dak Prescott in essence, that you need to be healthy and you need playmakers. And there's no doubt in my mind, the Philadelphia Eagles are 5-5. There's no question that we would be 7-3 right now. We would have beaten Detroit with Alshon and Deshaun. We lost by 3 points. We were in that game. The Atlanta game, that was by far the gutsiest performance I've seen in Carson Wentz's career besides the Rams game. Gutsy, a lot of heart that I still see on the sideline coming back after Julio Jones just scored that touchdown. Right on the sidelines, Nelson Aguilar would have been right in his hands, drops the ball. We would have been 7-3. I just wanted to point that out. Just keep in mind that. That's all.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, Atlanta is a really bad team. You know, they've won the last 2 games, I think. But before that, they started off 1-6. The one win was against us. And if Carson Wentz, and I hate to bring this up because you are a Wentz guy, if Carson Wentz doesn't start that game below average, and I mean below average, we wouldn't even had to be in that position where Aguilar had to catch that ball. Like, that's just what I want to bring up. All these fans say these other players are the reason why we lose the game. But Carson Wentz, every single game starts off fucking slow. Like, he doesn't get into rhythm until that pretty much the second half. And that's not what a good quarterback is supposed to do. I'm just saying, you know?
But does he hold on to the ball? Yes.
Yes.
Does he take sacks when he really shouldn't?
Yes.
Does he have a fast timer in his head? No. Okay. But going back to the Atlanta game.
Those are 3 things.
Okay, but and I admit it. I'm not going to be biased, but I'm asking you. That Atlanta game, we started off slow. Deshaun Jackson played?
No.
Alshon Jeffrey played?
No.
What do you expect him to do?
But it's versus Atlanta. Atlanta's a bad team.
Listen, it's still a National Football League. You need playmakers.
Kind of.
You have a game plan, Kyle. You know this more than anybody. I'm not gonna sit here and bitch and complain. It's your opinion. I respect it. I just don't agree, and I know you feel the same way. But I'm trying to express that. Like, again, Dak Prescott. Before Amari Cooper came here, he was just an average quarterback. Now, all of a sudden, he's good. You take away Amari Cooper. You take away Zeke Elliott. You take away Tyron Smith for one game. You think Dak Prescott is going to put up 300 yards and have a 100-yard passer rating? Very hard to believe.
Well, based off what he did his rookie year, maybe it is a little bit believable. You know, I know he had Des Bryant, but Amari Cooper's a stud. And I love that the people – the idiots on Twitter were like, they traded away a first rounder for a guy who couldn't succeed in Oakland. Well, that's why they're idiots on Twitter. And that's why you shouldn't listen to anyone on Twitter because anything they say go the opposite way. That's just how it is.
Well, you know? I thought they did give up a lot, but at the end of the day, it was worth every penny. So
yeah, Babbitt said hi, by the way.
Who?
John Babbitt.
Babbitt, you motherfucker. What's up, baby? Fuck those bags, baby.
Yeah, he's on Twitter. He's kind of like a casual kind of person on Twitter, but, you know, he's not like those nut jobs that have 500,000 fucking tweets. I think you were getting up to like 1 million at one point.
Listen, Twitter's past me now. It's done. Finished.
Oh, you know you're coming back.
Yeah, maybe. You never know. Never say never.
Yeah, exactly. Moving on to the Seattle game. What are your key predictions and what do we got to do to win this game? Because number one, it's supposed to rain tonight into tomorrow and possibly the whole afternoon in Philadelphia tomorrow. Tickets are right now around $60 for the cheapest, which is unusual for this type of situation we're in. So I just want to see what we have to do and what are your predictions and score on the game?
I mean, listen, it depends on if Jordan Howard's going to play, is Alshon going to play. That's number one. Because if we go with the same wide receivers like last week, I mean, we're not playing the Patriots. We're not playing against the great defensive-minded Bill Belichick and that great defensive front seven in New England. But
Pete Carroll's good, man. Pete Carroll's good.
Pete Carroll's very good. I'm not underrating, but like I said, I think I've been saying that we're going to beat Seattle all year long, even before the injuries, after the injuries. I've been saying we're going to beat Seattle. It's a feeling. Why do I say that? It's just, especially after that big win that they just had. Now, I understand. I think Pete Carroll's record after the bye is very good. But listen, they just had a big win. They just beat the San Francisco 49ers. You're at a high. And now it goes low when you're on the bye. You get healthy. They're saying that Jadeveon Clowney hasn't been practicing all week long. I don't know if he plays. I don't know how good he's going to be. The keys to the game, in my opinion, is going to be, listen, if it rains, I think that helps us because that means Russell Wilson may be slipping and sliding. That'll help us, benefit us. But at the end of the day, like I said, if Alshon and Jordan Howard, it's more Alshon. We need Alshon more than Jordan Howard because I believe Miles Sanders could take the load. Boston Scott's okay. Maybe we're going to see Jay Ajayi. You don't know. Yeah. But definitely Carson Wentz needs the help. I think we need to contain Russell Wilson. That's the number one thing is how are we going to contain Russell Wilson? Maybe a quarterback spy, just get pressure on him. I don't know. Tyler Lockett, I think, is back, which is bad news for us. But like I said, if it rains, it helps us. But Wentz definitely got to step up, but it's based on who he has tomorrow. If it's the same wide receivers of last week, I don't understand how anybody can expect something big. But it isn't the Patriots. The defense, I mean, Winston a couple of weeks ago at Seattle put up, I think, 400 yards and 3 touchdowns. So it's not a great defense. So I think you could be a little bit more on Wentz's side. I mean, against Wentz, that he has to perform. But like I said, it depends on who's playing tomorrow. It depends on the weather. But 3 keys to victories for me is offensive line, protect Wentz. Is Dillard going to go up against Clowney? Can he perform at a high level? That's a tough task for a rookie. Can Carson Wentz protect the ball? Not have any turnovers. And number 3, contain Russell Wilson. Those are my 3.
All right, well, I'm about to say something really bold right now. This is Carson Wentz's game tomorrow. If Carson Wentz fails to get this team over 21 points tomorrow against this garbage Seattle Seahawks defense, and when I say garbage, I mean they let up points to Baltimore. I think it was over 40, if I'm not mistaken. They gave up, 40 to Tampa Bay. They gave up 30-plus to 2 other teams. This is by far, and I mean by far, the worst Seattle Seahawks defense since Pete Carroll became the head coach of this football team. If this team cannot get over 21 points tomorrow with Carson Wentz is not what everyone says he is. This is his game.
So what happens if we score 24 points and we lose?
If we score 24 points and we lose, I'll look into it. All right? I'll look into it. You know, I don't want to blame Wentz every single week, but he is the guy that needs to take over. He needs to lead. I know there's some players that don't fit comfortably with him, and everyone will say that's not the case, but it is. There's a lot of people that are not in rhythm with him, and this is the game that'll show everything. It's a must-win game. It's in the rain. It's at home.
Definitely must win. Definitely 1,000%.
It's a must-win. You know, and you know what sucks about this team? We'll win this game, then we'll lose to fucking Miami.
Nah, come on. I believe. Listen, we need a jump start. It'll be a big NFC conference win if we could win, and then we take it from there. But one step at a time. But like I said, tomorrow's definitely a must win. I agree with you 100%. Doesn't matter how, just win. If the defense could play lights out the way we did last week, but it's different type of game because Russell Wilson could run, obviously, and we don't do well against mobile quarterbacks, in my opinion. But like I said, hopefully we have a good game plan, and I just hope Wentz could do something tomorrow, and I hope Alshon suits up, stop being a little bitch sometimes with his thigh or with his ankle or something. Just fucking play the game and just try to get us a win.
Yeah, now I got to ask you another question. Wentz, do you think that well, it's obviously he needs to start running some more, but do you think that they should just let him go back to the way he played in 2017? Because I know they're limited him a little bit, but injury or not, risk an injury or not, you know, he's obviously hasn't looked the same. And if he goes back to the way he played in 2017, risking that injury with the contract now, why don't you just let him go back to the way he played, you know?
I have to say, Doug Peterson, and I go back to what I was saying 2016, you know, everything changed when he won the Super Bowl. But Doug Peterson, I may have to agree with you that there's times that I think maybe he just doesn't know how to coach up Wentz. Mm-hmm. You know, you said that last time. He says maybe he just, with Foles, he could, I don't know, decrease the playbook or whatever he did. It's just too expanded from Wentz. But then when you look at 2017, he performed the way he performed, then that says no. So to me, Doug Peterson, I think, is not a very good adjuster. And what I say by that is he doesn't tweak the offense. When it comes to Wentz, he always says, I have confidence in these guys. Let's be real. I understand you're the coach. You can't have confidence in Matt Collins, who's been playing every week and has like 0 catches. Nelson Aguilar, who's been dropping the ball. You have all these injuries. As a coach, as a competent coach, you have to help out your quarterback the best way you can. That's what Pete Carroll does. That's what Belichick does. That's what all these good coaches do. What has he done to help Wentz? He should have ran the ball 30 to 40 times last week. We were averaging 4.7 yards a carry. We were winning 10-0. Yep. After that, throw the ball. So now what happens when you throw the ball and you have Deshaun and Alshon out? What happens? Defenses take away Ertz. There's no Jordan Howard. Now you got to rely on beating one-on-one coverage with Jordan Matthews, Hollins, Whiteside, or whatever. As a competent coach, you have to do what you must. Why not, like you said, do a rollout, run with Wentz? Why don't you do RPOs? Why don't you do something to help? I see him just saying, hike, fake handoff, dropping back, and waiting for somebody to get open. Yeah. And that, to me, is part of the coach, too. He doesn't have a game plan. He just says, I have confidence in these guys. Yes, I understand you're the head coach. Yes, I understand that you have to say these things, but let's be real. These players that you have, these backups that you have are garbage. Aguilar's having a down year, far from 2017. You got to help out your quarterback. Run the ball. If you have to run the ball 50 times, run the ball 50 times. It's not going to work. And I just think that adjusting-wise, he's regressed. If there's anybody that regressed, to me, it's Doug Peterson. That's just me.
Do you think Doug Peterson, if this goes into next year the way it is, you think he'll be on the hot seat?
I think by him winning the Super Bowl, he's bought time, a lot of time, in my opinion. And I don't think it's fair to Doug Peterson. Listen, a lot of people are going to say, oh, you hated Doug Peterson. Listen, I know Doug Peterson has a great heart. He's a good guy. All the players love him. And that's what I love about a coach. But you also got to be realistic, too. I feel like I wish he had a little toughness in him. I mean, we don't see what happens behind closed doors. But Doug Peterson, to me, he teaches it his own way. But I wish there was a sprinkle of Belichick in there. Like, no shit from nobody. This is how it's got to be. Mm-hmm. Doug Peterson, to me, he doesn't deserve it. Even let's say if we go 7-9 next year, 6-10, he doesn't deserve it. But you also have to look at, just like Carson Wentz, look at the offense. Look at the offense. The offense has a ton of injuries. What do you want him to do? Even if he ran the ball 50 times, were we going to win the game last week? No. You don't know that. What I'm saying is that he deserves a little bit of lenience, just like Wentz does, because the injuries, they're just too significant. Yeah. They're too significant. I can't just say, okay, Alshon's out and that's it. We had Deshaun still. It's just too significant. Defenses know we're going to go to Ertz. Goddard hasn't been what I thought he was going to be. I mean, I don't think it's right. Even if we go 6-10 next year, he doesn't deserve to be fired.
Yeah, well, the fans on Twitter will say that he should be fired. The thing with Doug Peterson that I don't agree with necessarily is he's keeping Mike Rowe around when Mike Rowe last year said that he didn't know how to coach up Golden Tate. And look at what Golden Tate's doing on your most biggest rival. You hate the New York Giants with a passion. All right, you hate him way more than the Cowboys. And look what Golden Tate's doing out there. He's performing. He's balling out. We could be using him right now. And we got rid of him because he didn't know how to coach him. Like, what kind of offensive coordinator do you have right next to you? Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. And to me, it's troublesome because it feels like the Eagles have gotten used to that Super Bowl title so much that they just don't care about winning anymore. That's the feel that I get from not only the team, but the fan base as well. Because when I'm in the link for those games, it's not the same atmosphere. It's not the same noise. And something's got to spark something to get that noise back, because I feel like some of the fans they settled for one Super Bowl. I really do. So
it's like everybody says, I didn't believe it till it happened. I mean, my passion is still there. I want to win. I want to be great. After we won the first Super Bowl, I said to myself, I want to be a dynasty. I really did. And I still do, obviously. And it's just, but I guess the fire, I believe the players, the way they played defense last week, how can you tell me that they're not fired up to play? Offense is stagnant right now because the injuries, but the defense, they showed me so much. Like, Tom Brady didn't throw a touchdown pass.
Nope.
Makes me sick.
Barely got over 200 yards.
So they're definitely trying. They're definitely playing with heart. But regarding the fans and regarding Twitter and all that stuff and the link, I mean, listen, they had a taste of victory. So I guess they're going by what they said. And I've said the same thing. I just want one before I die. But you know what? After I had a little taste of victory, I want more and more and more. I want to be like the Patriots. Let's be honest with you. Without the cheating, without the bullshit. I want to be the Patriots. Yep. I want to be the Bulls of the 90s. I want to be that. But you also have to have, health. You also have to have good players, good surroundings. And unfortunately, we're unlucky the last 2 years with these injuries.
It's crazy with this Philadelphia Eagles fan base and their fans. We got the Super Bowl in the most unorthodox way possible. All right. And I think that's why the fans, they're kind of going back and forth. Instead of enjoying the Super Bowl, enjoying Foles being here and now he's gone, instead of that, it's a debate between both quarterbacks, because there's one side that believes that Carson Wentz would have won the Super Bowl if he didn't get injured. All right. And there's another side that believes that he wouldn't win the Super Bowl because he's McNabb in the playoffs. But we don't know that because he didn't play in the playoffs. Right now, I don't know what to say about that. All I know is that Nick Foles won the Super Bowl, and that's all I got to say about it. That's why I love Nick Foles. I love Nick Foles. And is he a fit in Jacksonville? Probably not. But that being said, he'll probably be back here in 2 to 3 years as a backup. So that'll be pretty awesome.
You wish.
I hope so. Yeah. Nick Foles, my dude.
Yeah. Listen. Regarding the Nick Foles thing, I'm gonna clear the area. I know a lot of people think I hate Nick Foles. Listen, I don't care if it was Matt Moore who was the quarterback. I wanted to win. It just bothers me till this day, and it does. Like, a true Eagle fans wouldn't care. And listen, I believe in my heart. I love the Eagles. I love them with all my heart. It would have been perfect if Carson Wentz finished what he started. But like I said, I would never say I wish they could take it back and Wentz would have won, because you know what? It was a special season. Even Eagles fans doubted Nick Foles. There's a very, maybe a handful, not you, of course. Yes, I understand you and a couple other people, but if I could do it all over again, I wouldn't change a thing because it was just perfect. The storyline was perfect. But for a guy like Wentz, you just got to feel bad for him. He did most of the work, and then got to see that happen, and then the statue and all that. So you got to feel for him. But I really would not change a thing because I think it was a perfect ending. It was just like a Rocky Balboa story. Everybody counted us out. Everybody said, "Oh, Nick Foles doesn't have it," including myself. I said, "Nick Foles, we're gonna lose. That's it. We're not gonna win." And listen, it made it extra special. So I wouldn't change a thing.
Yeah, and before we wrap this up, because we hit our 30-minute mark, I'm gonna ask you this one question: did we pay Carson Wentz too early?
No.
No?
For me, no, because the kid does everything right. He's everything you want in a quarterback. Big, tall. Yes, the injury-prone thing is just, it bothers me. It bothers me because if he plays this year, he played a whole season. So basically, rookie year he played, and if God willing, he finishes this season. 2017, he played majority of the season. So injury-prone is a little bit too much. But do we pay him early? No, I think because Howie Roseman, besides with the contracts, he's a guru in my opinion. When it comes to money and contracts, he's a guru, and he did it at the right time. Mm-hmm. I don't think we did it too soon, and I think he deserved every penny, especially after 2017, that he showed you that with a competent offense and everybody healthy that he could win. So no, I don't truly believe that.
Well, it's crazy because everyone's talking about how injury prone the guy is, but he hasn't been injured the whole year, which is nuts. Everyone's saying this guy can't stay on the field, but it's the other way around. Now he just sucks. It's just you can't win with Carson Wentz. I agree with what you just said, honestly. I feel like, if you're going to get the contract out of the way, you gave him a fair contract. And, every single year from this point forward, the next QB to get paid is going to be the highest paid player. So you got him kind of cheap, in my opinion. So, you know what? If we don't win with him, it is what it is. Tough. We'll find another quarterback in 4 years, and that's it,
No, I agree with you. I agree with it 100%. But I just want to make a guarantee. Zomp guarantee right here. If the Philadelphia Eagles win tomorrow, we will be NFC East champs.
Okay. I'll give you another one. All right. Mm-hmm. If we win tomorrow, because we're not going to win tomorrow, I have us losing 35-24.
You're the most optimistic Eagles fans I know. Now all of a sudden I'm being optimistic and you're being pessimistic.
Because this team sucks.
What's going on?
This team sucks. This team is garbage. If you sat there in my 45-yard line seat for free last Sunday, all right, and saw what was going on, you'd realize what I'm saying. This team is garbage. We're going to lose 35-24 to Seattle. But if we don't, and we beat the Dolphins, because that's usually what happens. We beat a great team and we lose to a bad one. If we run the table, not only win, if we run the table after the Seattle game, we will go on a run.
It's possible. It's possible. I mean, we're not – listen, get Super Bowl out of your mind. I mean, anything is possible. Get Super Bowl out of your mind. But I genuinely believe if we beat Seattle, I can't see us losing to the Dolphins. I can't see us losing to the Giants. I can't see us – that Dallas game is going to be tough, but it's going to be at the Link. I think we're going to be healthier. Maybe we're going to see a Deshaun Jackson side, and you never know. So we shall see. But tomorrow, must-win game, and I think it's the season tomorrow for the division. I believe. I mean, you can't make the playoffs without the division. So
what's your score?
Yeah, so tomorrow it is what it is.
What's your score?
I'm going to say 24-20 Philadelphia Eagles.
So you're going low scoring. All right.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm going the over total, which is 48. So I said 35-24 Seattle. All right. Well, that being said, we're wrapping this up. Hopefully this becomes a weekly thing, a more regular thing. This was fun. And welcome back for now.
I appreciate you having me on. And to all my fans out there and all the haters, thank you for tuning in. And go subscribe to my boy Kyle. He's a good guy.
All right. Thanks, buddy. All right. See you guys later.
Peace.